Ever since Donald Trump won the presidential election in November, fears and concerns have spread amongst climate activists, environmentalists, and international allies on what a second Trump administration could mean for the global efforts aimed at curbing climate change.
I mean, the fact that the U.S. steps out of the Paris Accord is obviously not good news. We've seen in the last 10 years and even above expectation rise in temperatures.
If the U.S. does not have to provide a more ambitious climate plan, while other countries presumably might be tempted to also change their own plans.
Amid this criticism, there's a growing number of environmentalists and clean energy advocates on the right who are confident that not all hope is lost.
If climate change is a crisis, we need to be looking at all of our options to reduce our emissions as quickly as possible. And if that involves using fossil fuels as bridge fuels, if that involves using fossil fuels with carbon capture and other ways to control emissions, then I think we should do that. And I believe that this administration is going to be much more interested in that, and also much more interested in a deregulatory agenda.
As promised on the campaign trail, President Trump issued a number of sweeping executive orders targeting the energy industry on his first day in office.
Next item here is the withdrawal from the Paris Climate Treaty.
From withdrawing the U.S. from the Paris Climate Agreement to declaring a national energy emergency, halting federal support for offshore wind, and opening up Alaska for possible drilling, the message was clear. The U.S. would be shifting its attention away from renewables and back to fossil fuels like oil and gas. The president and his allies have insisted these measures will support domestic energy production, advance energy dominance, and further boost national security. Meanwhile, critics say it will hinder the U.S.'s ability to make meaningful steps in curbing greenhouse gas emissions and transitioning to greener energy sources, particularly on the global stage. With Republicans in control of Congress and the White House, is there space for meaningful climate reform to exist? In the last few years, there has been a growing trend among Republicans and conservatives to support clean energy solutions, climate-related policy, and movements to conserve our natural resources. Organizations like the American Conservation Coalition, Rainey Center, and Citizens for Responsible Energy Solutions have been at the forefront of this change, with one key factor uniting them all: women leading the charge.
Women have this view of these issues that allow it to permeate in culture, and I think that a lot of that is why this eco-right conservative environmental movement has also been so successful.
I find a lot of women are very pragmatic in terms of coalition building and consensus building as well.
When you think about climate advocacy, or you think about what a conservative is, you don't think of, oh, a conservative woman advocating for climate change.
We do believe it's important to ensure that women are active members of this ecosystem.
I think it's very important to have disparate voices, not just one narrative. And I think that's what we as women, conservative women, Republican women, bring. We bring people together, we initiate conversation, we initiate dialogue, and all of us are focused on trying to execute and get things done.